We are all aware of Japan's supremacy in electronics and cutting-edge technology. However, a new rise has begun as a result of Japan's incredibly solid foundation of superior military hardware and dependable friends like the United States. In light of China's increasing assertiveness near the Senkaku Islands and in the South China Sea, Japan's neighbors are making a lot of noise. Japan is intensifying its preparations for an equivalent response. The Self-Defense Forces of Japan pledged to buy up to 147 F-35s, build the nation's first aircraft carriers since World War II, or possibly create the first sixth-generation fighter jet. Let's begin by discussing the top 5 most potent Japanese military weaponry. Hello everyone, this is AWZ. Welcome to our channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Enjoy. Mitsubishi F-2 fighter is ranked first. This fighter plane is an illustration of Japanese creativity. It was developed by taking a tested and existing fighter from the US and modifying and improving it beyond their wildest expectations to produce the sophisticated F-2. When it took to the air for the first time in 1995, this aircraft was so technologically sophisticated that it featured the first active electronically scanned array radar aboard a combat aircraft. The JAPG-1 was important because it was equipped with a cutting-edge radar before the ultra-modern F-22 Raptor could. The F-2 is structurally different from the original F-16 in that it has a longer, wider nose, a larger air intake, a greater wing area, uses composite materials, and has a 3-piece cockpit canopy. In addition to having an integrated electronic warfare suite and a glass cockpit with 3 big multifunction screens, the F-2 possesses 13 weapon stations as opposed to the F-16's 9. It is astonishing how many armaments the F-2 can carry and how many different anti-ship missiles it can use. The primary use of the F-16 is as a fighter, and they are routinely sent out to escort curious. For offensive purposes, 4 hardpoints are carried with locally developed air-to-air missiles that perform better than its American counterparts. Russian bombers and reconnaissance aircraft are anticipated to cost more than $120 million each, making it questionable whether the F-2 is cost-effective. The cost per aircraft was excessive, making it 4 times as expensive as an F-16 Block 52. As a result, the order was eventually reduced, and 94 aircraft were acquired. Number 2, Soryu-class electric diesel submarine. Japan possesses some of the most technologically advanced non-nuclear assault submarines, with a submerged displacement of 4,100 tons. The subs have a diving depth of 500 meters, which is likely the highest in their category. They can travel at 13 miles per hour on the surface and up to 20 knots underwater. Despite having diesel-electric propulsion, these vessels are designed to operate as well as submarines with nuclear power. Soryus also have the biggest arsenal of diesel-electric submarines, with a capacity that is comparable to that of nuclear submarines. The Soryu class is equipped with 20 Type 89 high-speed homing torpedoes, American-made sub-harpoon missiles, and 6 boat-mounted torpedo tubes. In order to launch an acoustic device, it also contains a 2x3-inch underwater countermeasure launcher tube. In order to counter hostile sonar and torpedoes, Japan eventually intends to have 11 of these deadly submarines in operation. The submarine's overall acquisition price was around $635 million. Due to rising tensions with China, Australia will likely become their top export destination. Japan has made the decision to expand its own submarine fleet from 16 to 22. China is particularly concerned about Japan's submarine fleet due to Beijing's historical shortcomings in anti-submarine warfare. China hasn't used ASW in times of conflict and has institutional weaknesses in terms of resources and capabilities. On the other hand, Japan has operated submarines for many years, and according to reports, the operators are equally as well trained as their American counterparts. The F-15J, an air superiority fighter and the best of Japan's fighter force, comes in at number 3. The twin-engined F-15J is a slightly modified variant of the American F-15 Eagle that is made in Japan by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. They can efficiently defend the Japanese island chain because they are the biggest fighters in the JAST and have the longest range. On their 3 primary weapon stations, they have the capacity to carry more than 10 tons of bombs, missiles, or other equipment, and they can carry weapons on the other weapon stations. The American Sidewinder missile, which the F-15J replaced, was replaced with the AAM-5 infrared homing missile, which will be complemented by the AAM-4B medium-range radar-guided missile. The F-15J has a particular edge against Chinese rivals since it is one of the few missiles in the world with an active array radar seeker, active array radar missiles, and the capacity of radar-guided missiles to lock on. At a cost of $4.5 billion, a fleet of more than 200 F-15J DJ fighters were converted into modified Eagles designed specifically for Japan. 12 aircraft per year are modified with modern electronic countermeasures in order to maintain these 30-plus-year-old jets competitive against the next generation of Chinese fighters. The F-15J, which has forward-looking infrared and infrared search and track capabilities, is the military reaction of Japan to foreign military forces in 2013. 567 air intercepts of foreign aircraft approaching Japanese airspace were carried out by the ASDF. A new record, a squadron of 20 F-15Js already stationed in Okinawa and protecting the Senkaku and Ryoku Islands will be added, while the prospect of placing a small detachment on the island of Yanyaguni is being explored. Despite having an outdated design, the F-15J still poses a significant threat to the Air Force of the People's Liberation Army. And the F-15 has a reputation for being a highly lethal fighter with 104 aircraft kills and 0 losses after more than 3 decades of service, making it arguably the equal of any operational Chinese fighter globally. The FX 6th generation fighter is ranked 4th. A 6th generation fighter named the FX or F3 has had its flight prototype displayed by the Defense Minister of Japan, Taro Kono. The FX is expected to be a generation more advanced than the F-35 and a formidable adversary for Chinese and Russian stealth fighters. The FX will demonstrate cutting-edge technology like the ability to remotely operate drones, a helmet-mounted virtual reality display, and a radar that can also be used as a microwave weapon to destroy enemy missiles. The integrated bonded structure made of composite materials used in the FX design concept is known to help the aircraft lose weight and enable flexible basing from the central Japanese islands. With the use of ionized gas to lower radar cross-section and electromagnetic wave absorbers, the fighter will demonstrate enhanced stealth. FX will be able to store at least 6 internal weapons, including air-to-ground and anti-ship missiles, and be built to exchange sensor data with Japanese and U.S. forces. Each fighter jet will be able to command up to 3 wingman-style drones utilizing a common basic design known as the Combat Support Unmanned Aircraft, even though air-to-air combat will be its primary task. While the basic design, including the airframe and engine, has already been completed, the prototype won't be ready until 2024, and the first flight won't happen until 2028. The cost of each aircraft might well reach 20 billion yen, or $179 million, and the total FX program is anticipated to cost Japan another $45 billion, making this fighter unaffordable. Itsumo-class multipurpose vessel number 5. Because of its location, Japan needs a naval force that can, in the event of war, convey a significant number of soldiers and equipment to its many islands. The largest naval vessels built by post-war Japan are the Itsumo-class helicopter destroyers, which weigh over 27,000 tons when fully loaded and measure more over 800 feet in length. Although the Itsumo class and the earlier, smaller Hyuga class are sometimes compared to aircraft carriers, they are actually amphibious assault ships or landing helicopter docks since they have a sizable flat deck that can support helicopter operations. Additionally, tanks and other vehicles with the ability to quickly deploy troops via a well deck can hold 500 to 1,000 soldiers. The Itsumo has ESA radar phalanx, packed SILS bow-mounted sonar, and anti-torpedo defenses. Its extensive aircraft fleet of transport and assault helicopters serves as its primary offensive weapon. Its maximum capacity is listed as 14 helicopters in the official statistics, but they have been greatly exaggerated for political reasons, and its actual capacity is closer to 30 helicopters. According to reports, each vessel is expected to cost about $1.5 billion. Although significant changes would need to be made, such as adding support for fixed-wing aircraft and reinforcing the flight deck to resist the high temperatures produced during vertical takeoff and landing, the F-35B may also be used to launch from the Itsumo or perhaps the Hyuga destroyers. As an ASW platform that could sweep and clear sizable areas of Chinese submarines as an amphibious platform, the Itsumo class is a platform that China dread. It gives Japan the flexibility to station soldiers on distant islands, and it may serve as an impromptu aircraft carrier in the East China Sea for a few stealthy fifth-generation fighter bombers. We have finished our time for today's video. If you learned anything new from this video and are astonished by Japan's superpower, please like it and subscribe to never miss another video from AWZ. Goodbye until next time.